Without further ado, I'm going to ask you guys to think and not shut out the answer. Think of the answer in your head. How many of you own this air handler? So it's got, what's cool is the laser works on the TV. Lasers don't usually work on TVs. Anybody know why that is? Okay, is this like a old school or a new school?
Old school plasma.
Yeah,
Okay.
always absorb the laser.
There you go. There's the answer. So we learned something. Rob's not, Joey, you won't tell. So it's got a return air damper, outside air damper, fan in the blow-through configuration, evaporator coil, a heater coil, and some dampers. Everybody taking that in. So now you can answer, how many people own this air handler? At least one of them. Some of us with problems have multiple. The old wheels are turning, wheels are turning. What if I say everybody in this room had one, and some of us had more than one, and
Yep.
go.
Vehicles.
Yep. This is your air handler in your car or your truck, and it's really sophisticated, and people kind of wrap their heads around or don't wrap their heads around. So this is, your floor. You got your return air. So the recirc button now, it used to say max cooling on the older units. So when you slid it over to max cooling, it didn't cause the compressor to run faster. It recirculated air to give you, instead of outside air, which was 90 degrees and humid, but then you're getting all that foot odor and smoke if you're smoking and everything. So I ride with salesmen. I make sure that they're not on recirc because we got some big boys that like to sweat. So 100% outside air. When the evaporator coil is on, so we've hit AC, we've got 50 degree air coming off that, 55 depending on the RPM of the motor and how fast we're going. And when we're in full cool, so now that blend door, oh, I'm going to do this to make it easier for you guys. That's what I was talking about. So this is the max AC. This blend door here is the hot cold. Fan speed, it's a system. It's an air handler. So we've got that 55 degree air, let's say, coming off the evaporator. Say we're doing about 35 miles an hour. And it's either coming out our vent, right at the dashboard. We've got maybe defrost on, or it's going off at the floor. What's really nice about this air handler in your car, what's the temperature of this coil? Anybody have an idea? Hot water coil?
190.
Bingo. So what your thermostat is set at on your, in that water neck, 190 degrees or so. That's a hot water coil just like any other air handler. So we've got 190 there. If we've got 55 or 50 degree dehumidified air coming off that evaporator, and we start blending that door back open towards hot, even though it's a 75 degree day in the summer, man, that car's comfortable. We're doing sensible reheat with that coil that's always active, unless there's, nowadays you got some relays that lock it out. And we're getting closer to that neutral 70 degree air. So this becomes a DOAS unit that, I see you guys do some VRF. If there's DOAS units associated with that, we can't always be dumping 55 degree air in the space because we'll overcool. Reheat is key there. The reason I bring this to your attention today, what's the economizer control on this?
You are.
Yes, exactly. Fantastic answer. So your brain is telling you whether you want free cooling, which could be rolling the windows down, or it could be just turning the fan up, or you need DX cooling, so you've energized AC, or you need heat. You're the economizer control. And you know that on different days, I had a buddy that the first 70-degree day of the spring, he'd turn the air conditioning on. I'm like, come on, we're finally out of winter. You know, it's a long winter in Ohio. But he wanted cold, dehumidified air. But he was the economizer control, and he was set in his mind to ultra safe. And that's where we're going to get into those lockout temperatures on economizers, whether it's strictly temperature or temperature and humidity. That's your brain in your car saying, I want cooling. I need to dehumidify this because it's clammy. I've spent a lot of time in my career with the psychometric chart. It bores a lot of people to tears. A lot of people in my office make fun of me because it's the, nerdy engineering background, and engineers don't have calluses and bloody hands and all that kind of stuff. So same thing, rooftop air handler. You've got one in the back. Return air, barometric relief, outside air, mixed air here, cooling coil, blower, heat exchanger, supply air. We're going to use or reference this type of drawing a lot, but this is what I want you to keep in your mind. Now, we don't typically mount that mixed air sensor at that location, but this is truly mixed air, so it's a combination of return air and outside air. And I don't put the sensor, this is the old school sensor back in the day, just a little thermistor on the end of it. This typically gets put in the blower section. And the reason that is in this area with those dampers, it's incredibly turbulent. There's a lot of attempted mixing going on, doesn't always happen, but we're never going to get a true mixed air temperature in that mixed air section. So don't be misled, but see how it says mixed air temperature sensor right there? That's downstream of the cooling coil. Well, it's not truly mixed air, but it plays well with the economizers, and we'll go over it.